Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday, Q&A Tuesday. So I got a very a big question. That's the way I think of it. Is it's a big question from someone, and I've been asked this kind of question before, and so I thought I'd tap into it today and see what happens. And the question is, Grace, could you do a video about the Course in Miracles and its relationship with the work? And why I say it's a vast and huge question is because the Course in Miracles, like many volumes of teaching, is has a lot to say, and a lot of text and study and ideas and thoughts about life and about humanity and living and being human and whatever thinking actually is and what feelings are and how we're seeing the world and how we're seeing the great mystery and God. And it's definitely got its tone, like many do, that look like it comes out of a certain historical perspective, in this case, like a Christian mysticism. And so that really works beautifully for many people. And, we love spiritual texts and methods and teachings and gatherings, and finding something that is of great interest to study, can be so exciting. I was in a Course in Miracles study group for an entire year and did the process of, there's some daily lessons that you can work with, and then also gather with people, and there's a text you can study, and a long time ago. And sometimes it's come up, and it will be something like now where somebody asks about it, as well as other texts and teachings that have been in existence for a long time. So if you are familiar with A Course in Miracles, and you certainly don't have to be right now in this moment to be, witnessing the answer to this, it's like really sort of anything that's talking about life and teaching and happiness and peace and love. I love, particularly in the Course in Miracles, I love the word miracle, because transformation can feel quite miraculous. Like there's something that happens that seems magical and sort of beyond a linear plan. I'm going to do A, and then I'm going to do B, and then C will happen. And I love the way our minds do it that sort of simplistic way. And, mine will do that too. But by definition, a miracle is something where it doesn't really look like there's an A plus B equals C. It's just like something just happens and we can't really explain it. So that's kind of wonderful. But I think, no surprise that people have asked questions about this, because also in like Buddhism and other teachings and approaches, just with the wording here, there is a lot of similarity to looking at questioning our thinking. There's a lot of words and sentences that invite us to question how it is we're seeing something, to question our thoughts. So, there's so many really that I can kind of pick from, but in thinking about responding to this answer this morning, I remembered one quote that says from the Course in Miracles, and it could be equally said in the work of Byron Katie, or anything that's really around self-inquiry or inquiring and looking at what thought actually is. But the quote is, "What you think you are is a belief to be undone." What you think you are is a belief to be undone. What we think anything is a belief to be undone. What we think of as the world is a belief to be undone. I love the simplicity of the work. It's just 4 questions and finding turnarounds, whereas there's a lot written in the Course in Miracles. But that's okay. I mean, if your mind is like mine, love information and reading and gathering and finding and sorting and kind of piecing together and on this great adventure in life. But there is something quite similar in just shining a spotlight on questioning whatever it is that we're thinking of as true, how we're seeing something. Question it. I think the Course might say, and maybe ultimately even to the work, even though we start with the work and whatever is stressful and painful, it would really say, like so many volumes of spiritual teaching, question everything, stressful or not stressful. But, start with what's stressful, because that's the thing that feels like it's really snagging us or hurting or painful or difficult. So I just see them as, inviting us to relax into the experience of thought, relax with the thought that we are thinkers. Like, there's thought happening and you sure can't stop it. There it is happening. Hard feelings are happening. And allowing it to be the way it is, and allow it to be undone through a question mark. Is that true? Allowing it to be the way it is, being open to that great don't know space that we all have access to. I mean, all of us kind of like, is that your final answer? Is that really the way life actually is? If I had to say this is it and this is the answer, gosh, it's going to be painful if I'm saying, oh yeah, I absolutely have the answer. I know what the answer is to life and what all this means and why we're ever here in the first place and what's going on and why anything stressful ever happens. It's although I know, probably we ourselves, and we can see when humans say, oh yeah, I do know the right answer. This is absolutely it. There's no question. There's no doubt whatsoever in my mind. That can have sort of an aggressive feel, and like you're doubling down, you're kind of fighting and staying on track, and lots of effort and lots of push and lots of separation, lots of individual application of movement. But so I love that the work is just asking over and over again with that amazing capacity of the mind to churn out energy that's talking about whatever's happening in the world. And that we ask in that 4th question, and who am I? What's happening here without my thought about it? What would it be like if I didn't have this thought? What would it be like if I didn't have it? What if my thought isn't true? Let's trying that on. What if I didn't see it the way I see it? And I love the turnarounds, because then we can, try on different ways of seeing it that we might not have been thinking of. Like, instead of I should be positive, or I should be directed here, or I should be not allowing this and definitely allowing that, or whatever, all that effort that's personally seems to be, where we go, where my mind goes. I need to do these things and that thing, and this is just sort of opening up to being a human, being the presence of a human being that has thoughts and feelings and has a perspective and does certain things based on what the perspective might be in any given moment, but is constantly, changing and open and totally able to question. And it really is The Course in Miracles says quite a bit about feeling fear and feeling a lack of safety, especially when we might even be considering questioning our thoughts. It's like, but even though it looks really stressful, I really think of that as true. I really do need to change this situation or have that go differently to be happy. And I love that it does actually say quite a bit about fear and, the tightness of fear. And there's a lot of fear, I think, that comes up as I've worked with people and myself over the years in self-inquiry. A lot of fear comes up about, even though a thought was stressful, even though it was very stressful, like, some of these simple things that, so many inquiries into just how people are being out there, but even how I'm being, like self-sabotage behavior, which I speak about so much, overeating and overdoing this and not getting this and being too shy and just all the critical thinking that our mind does. So there we are having those experiences that we're doing, and to sit there in inquiry and see what it is that is all happening there, what we're really afraid of, sort of identify it clearly. What is it that we're afraid of? And instead of turning away from the fear, just like allowing it to be there, allowing ourselves to write it all down. And of course, we naturally don't want to be afraid. I mean, that's sort of built in. Like, or we don't want to, we want to get away from fear, or fear helps us run away from the tiger, get away from something that looks dangerous. And gosh, isn't it all such a paradox? Like, if I actually got eaten by the tiger, would that be the worst thing that ever happened? I mean, yeah, so interesting, right? We don't even know. We think that's the end, like death itself or pain or hardship. But is it really? I mean, do we really know that? Everything's just sort of a don't know. So I love the question, who am I without my thought? In some ways, I think of the Course in Miracles as a refinement of that great question. How do I work with thought? How do I work with thoughts and feelings and my perspective? So I love that people, get super into it and just find whatever is useful for you. And nobody has to either. Like, there's just different things show up in, the whole history of humanity, right? That have been useful tools or useful questions, useful teachings. So, wonderful to just sort of study and feel and be aware and notice. So much about noticing. Really, it's all going to an I don't know place, the don't know mind. Who would I be without my story? Who would I be without my story? If I don't have this story, and that can look scary. That can look scary. Who would I be without my story? And it can also look incredibly exciting. Just to notice that we don't have the story all the time anyway, and we're perfectly safe. We're still here, present, doing whatever we do. So, yeah, if anyone has questions, I mean, you can just pop them right in here right now. I can see the chat stream and see your questions. So in some ways, this would be helpful. Like whoever wrote and asked, could you speak about the Course in Miracles and the work of Byron Katie? And it's a gigantic, broad category, right? Similarities and how they might interact and work together. But I do think ultimately, like, it seems like every time, 100% of the time, the work can work with absolutely any religion or spiritual path or spiritual practice or process, absolutely anything. It has no it fits and drops right into the middle of that, being able to question what it is that I'm looking at or seeing or being with. So somebody asks, how do you relate miracles to the work? Awesome question. Yeah, to begin with this place of whatever a miracle is, just as I was saying at the very beginning, looking at, I guess from the title, A Course in Miracles, the mysterious great unknown. For me, I think asking and answering that question, who are you? Who are you? Who are you without your story? Who are you without your story? Which the work invites over and over again. Leaves just this big open space, and that there's more here than just our own mind and directives and control and whatever it is we think about ourselves and about the world. There's more than that, just that running here. And who knows then what will happen? It is a great don't know. Like just being able to relax and kind of look and see, who am I without my story? Well, let's find out. It could be a miracle. It's kind of a miracle that we're even here. I mean, it's such a great mystery, like it just, how did it happen that I happen to appear here and look like I'm conscious and have thinking happening and feelings and experience and encounters in life, but totally inexplicable how this came to be. And just, being able to trust or look through very open, don't know mind eyes, looks like it's all quite miraculous. And, like I was saying, I love the word miracle because it's different than that process of A plus B equals C. I know how to get somewhere. We always want to get somewhere, get to peace or get to answers or get to love. And maybe that's just happening already in this moment. And so just noticing that all is well here right now in this moment, no matter what it is that we're afraid of that's coming. We just notice anything that we think of that we're afraid of that's coming. Who knows? The mind is showing us fearful images. So don't know. Future. So what's here present right now in this presence, and allowing it to be something that we can, just sit with the don't know space. I don't know. And that's safe to not know. I think, maybe that's the thread, to just noticing that. And there's probably also lots of other similarities between A Course in Miracles and the work. And so you can share, feel free to share with those what you found and discovered if you're a Course in Miracles student. And, what's funny is, and if you aren't, or whatever it is that your framework is of thinking, just trust that whatever your framework of thinking is for you or has been, or whatever wisdom you've been, like looking into is beautiful. That's all okay. And right within is all you need right now in this moment. Don't have to be frightened and terrified of what's going to happen, like AI computers. I mean, just, if fear is there, that's okay. It's just not the end all be all of everything. It's not the only thing. And I don't know if it really, it's a great kind of like shining a light on what to inquire into. What is I'm thinking and believing that's worth questioning? And maybe everything's worth questioning. So many different traditions will talk about just the letting go, Some will say, let go and let God, let go into love, let go into the presence of what is here, trust. And it's wonderful to question thinking. It comes in and starts talking about what's true, or what might happen, or what happened in the past that's terrible. And just allow ourselves to be right here where we are in this moment, and trust something other than our minds, something other than whatever human beings are doing, to just relax and trust the whole greater process, that some intelligence knows what it's doing. How could, and here we are, something we got created and put here. I don't know, however that happened. Yeah. And just to simply trust, even if we don't even know what it is. So I love somebody sharing, for me, it's a shift in perception. Yeah. Seeing love as opposed to fear. It's nice. Yeah. There's all that fear, and it's got a lot of interesting, busy, like, activated energy. And even seeing that's got something all in itself, and then to draw from that and just see what it is I'm thinking is the great doorway into that space of love, I find every time, 100% of the time. So I think the shift just winds up happening. That's what's kind of exciting and maybe miraculous about questioning conclusions about the world or fears about the world. So love that you shared that. All right. I hope that helps. What a big, wonderful question somebody asked, and love it. And ask more if it comes up. All right. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy looking around, and maybe that could be like the little turnaround, the living turnaround that we see today. Noticing what's a loving miracle all around us today. I mean, what a fun thing to notice, Love the way the mind is kind of like busy noticing what doesn't work. What do they say, 80% negative bias? And that's okay too, that it's doing that. Don't even have to shut that down. And wow, just to see what works, what's here, what's present, what's supporting me beyond mind, kind of what's holding up the whole thing, just feeling into that present moment. All right. Lots of love, everybody.